Hey everybody, Travis here at mudcreek.com. Today I want to do a review of the Mountain House Noodles and Chicken pouch. So this is a pouch that weighs 4.73 ounces. These pouches are really nice because they're easy to throw in your backpack for like hiking or, obviously trail backpacking. If you're going in for an overnight or extended stay or even a day trip, they're just nice because it's easy food to carry in. It's, real easy to prepare. And it's a hot meal on the go. So I like them a lot. I take them hunting and fishing and backpacking, and a lot of times even just going out to go like shoot or something like that. I'll bring it just because I know it's an easy meal and it's hot and it's especially on a cold day, it's really nice. But anyway, so we're gonna do a review of this today and show you what we've got. We'll do some quick specs here. Like I said, it's 4.73 ounces width here. And the reason I give these so you don't think it's lame is so that you kind of have an understanding of the pack weight of something like this. So, and the dimensions. So it's 8 inches by about 9.5 inches, and then it's about you can easily squeeze that down to about 2 inches. If you just if they've been settling a little bit and get down there, if you shake them a little bit, you can kind of spread it out a little bit. So what you can do is you can lay them flat, so you can take another pouch like this if you're in your pack, and you could even like rubber band them together and just stack them up like that, and try to conserve as much space as you can on them. That's kind of the nice thing about these Mountain House pouches is they don't take up a whole lot of space or anything. And the other thing is they can also be used as a water container if you had to. After they were empty, you could fill it up with water or something in a survival situation or whatnot, or even possibly boil some water in it just because they're kind of a foil inside, so a mylar. So I don't know if I would recommend that, but if you were in the situation, you probably could. Let's go ahead and take a look here at the ingredients, and I'll look at the nutritional facts. Let's do the nutritional facts first. So this is 2.5 servings. Per serving, it's 220 calories. So 2.5 times 220, you're looking, probably shy of, close to 600 calories, probably just shy of that. Total fat's 5 grams, carbohydrates 34 grams, and proteins 10 grams. That's per serving. Calories from fat's 45. If you want to look at this a little bit more detailed, if there's something specific you're looking at, like sodium and whatnot, feel free to pause this and look, and I'll hold this here for a second. But you can also go to our website at www.mudcreek.com, and we'll have all this information on there, and have a full review written up there. Ingredients, pre-cooked noodles, it's kind of the main thing. Eggs, salt, that's what's in the noodles anyway. And then there's cooked chicken, sweet red peppers, cornstarch, things like that. But contains wheat, egg, milk, and soy. So if you're allergic to any of those things, something to think about. So instructions on opening this. Let me tell you real quick though. First, the shelf life on these. The cool thing about Mountain House is they used to have a shelf life of 7 years. It's now up to 10 years. What they do now, instead of actually printing an expiration date on there, they print a manufacture date. So they'll say it's manufactured January 14th, 2013. So something to think about. Sometimes people get something, they think, oh, it's expired, and that's, Mountain House doesn't do that anymore. They just print a manufacture date on there. But they'll now last 10 years, and they suggest and they think that they'll last anywhere between, up to 30 years in reality. And what will happen is over the years, they'll, maybe lose a little bit of flavor. But, they've eaten them, anywhere between 15 and 30 years. Mountain House on their website talks about this if you go to their website. But they've eaten them, up to 30 years old. And they, like I said, about the only thing that's wrong with them is maybe just lose a little flavor. So something to think about. I think you can make these last a long time. It's great for food storage. We sell them by the case. So you can buy them in a box of 6 and store them like that if you like. So something to think about. They'll last you a long time, so it's not like you're wasting money on something that's going to go away real quick. And the nice thing about this kind of food storage is it actually tastes good. Like, I will eat these, even for just like lunch one day, I would eat one. To me, they're actually really good. There's some flavors I like more than others, but for the most part, I really enjoy them. So let's go ahead and get this fired up. Let's tear the top off and see what we're looking at on the inside here. So when you open it up, you're going to want to take the oxygen absorber out. It's first thing to do. Don't forget to do that. I've left it in some time. So, you know, it looks pretty savory. It looks like it's going to be pretty good to me. I've actually never had this flavor, so this is going to be a bit of an experience for me. So we'll see how it goes. So I'm going to go ahead and get some water going. I'm going to lay down a cloth, though. Seems like every time I do this, I like to spill. So I'm going to go ahead and lay down a cloth on top of this. So we'll go ahead and add, it asks for 2 cups of water. So most bottled water is, you know, 16 ounces. This is 16.9, so it'll probably be just shy of that. So 16 ounces, 8 ounces in the cup. So 16 ounces is going to be our 2 cup mark. So what I like to do, it leaves about that much. You know, that's my little swig of water for the day. Or not for the day, but, you know, or save it to drink with it. If you want it a little bit more runny, you can. If you want it a little less runny, you can. So if you want to go like maybe a cup and a half, just because you don't want it as runny, that's not a big deal. You know, it's entirely up to you. So we're using the Crux Light stove today. We'll go ahead and fire this up. This boils pretty quick. I'll go ahead and put the lid on here. And what I'll do is I'll actually come back here in a minute, so you don't have to, you know, watch water boil. I can't imagine anything much more boring than that. But I'll be back in a bit when this gets boiling. We'll dump it in and show you what we've got. Alright, so our water just started to boil. We're starting to get some steam coming off. Got a nice little rolling boil there. You know, the directions just say to bring it to a boil. I don't know that you have to boil it, you know, too long. If you're obviously using like stream water or something like that, you're probably going to boil it, you know, some people say a couple minutes to 5 minutes, you know, as far as a good rolling boil to help kill any, you know, any things, you know, that are inside it that could be harmful to your body. But, you know, it's good clean water, so I'm not too worried about it. So what we'll do is I'm going to go ahead and get the stove out of the picture here. Take the lid off. Okay. Just, you know, just a reminder, be careful. You just never know, you know. Especially when you have these pouches, sometimes they're a little awkward to open and you just don't want to spill on yourself because that's hot water. So we'll dump that in there. And then what it says is to let it sit. So we're going to stir it first, and then we're going to let it sit for about 8 to 9 minutes. You know, you can always go a little more, probably even a little less if you like, if you don't mind some crunch, you know, if you're in a hurry or something like that. I've done it. It's not a big deal. You know, it's just kind of preference. What you can do is just pull it out and sample it. So that's what it looks like with the initial water in it. And then we'll let that sit. So I'm going to mix this up real good and just get, you know, especially on the bottom, some of the seasoning likes to settle down there. And sometimes the noodles will like to stick with some of that seasoning. So just something to think about. So we're going to let that sit for 8 to 9 minutes. We'll be back again and show you what we've got and see how it tastes. So one other thing you can do, if you're careful or if you have gloves on, you can kind of squeeze it like that to help mix it up. That's really hot to me right now, which is bare hands, so I wouldn't recommend that unless you got a pair of gloves on or it's been sitting for a minute. You know, it's actually a great little hand warmer if you're cold and it's, you know, out in the winter or something like that. It's not a bad little hand warmer. Just get warm, or I suppose you could put your feet on it if you don't mind eating it afterward, but you know, it's not a bad thing in that sense. So we'll be back in 8 to 9 minutes and we'll see what we've got. All right, we have let that sit for about 8 to 9 minutes, so we're going to go ahead and take a look at it and see what we've got. So let's go ahead and open this up. You know, and you might just do that a little bit, or even like even put you know, your spoon and just mix it up a little bit again if you like, just, and you can let it sit one more time if you want to, just for another minute or two. But that's what it looks like. So, you know, honestly for me, you know, when we opened it, I didn't expect originally, when we first opened this with the dry ingredients in there, you know, I didn't expect it to have like the peppers as much, even though, I mean, it's on the ingredients, but like when I first look at this, I guess that's the one thing I don't see. You know, it would be nice maybe if they put that on there so that you don't think it's maybe a little bit more mild. I don't know that the peppers are going to be, you know, like I said, this is my first time tasting this, so I don't know that the peppers are going to taste, you know, hot or anything. It might just add that little extra flavor is all. So I'll let you know here in a minute if it's really kind of a hotter one. But, you know, maybe one criticism is just that it'd be nice if maybe they just specified on the front like they do on some of the others, some of the other ingredients, that, you know, may or may not turn you off if you're not into peppers or something like that, if you're worried about the heat. So, all right, let's go ahead and look. You know, it actually looks pretty dang good to me, though. And this is pretty typical of the noodles I've seen that Mountain House tends to do. I want to say the stroganoff noodles are similar to this, and maybe the chicken a la king or something like that. I want to say look like this if I remember right. So, you know, these are kind of the typical Mountain House noodles. Kind of a flat egg noodle, if you will. You know, but it doesn't look bad to me. They're a little smaller than maybe what you'd think. You know, a typical like a fettuccine noodle or something like that. But, you know, they look fine to me. So I'll give this a try. You can see it right there. See all the flavors in there. And I just spilled, and that's why I've got a rag there now. You know, quite unexpectedly, that's really good. I wasn't expecting a whole lot from this, just because it wasn't really my, you know, my cup of tea. Peppers, I don't really notice them. I mean, I think they just add just that little extra flavor, maybe some savoriness to it. So in that sense, I think they're pretty good. You know, there's just a few little spices and whatnot in there to kind of add a little extra flavor to it, so it's not so bland, maybe. Yeah, it's actually really good. You know, it's cooked perfectly. No crunchiness. So if you do the 8 to 9 minutes, you know, depending on altitude and things like that, but that's probably pretty dang accurate. I'll get one with a little bit more of the peppers on it. There's 2 big chunks of pepper on here, and I'll see if that... I don't really taste a lot of pepper in it. I'm not... I know I say I'm not a huge fan of a lot of things, but I guess it's because I'm not. But I'm not a huge pepper guy. One other thing to throw on there, and... you know, I don't mind them. So, yeah, so it's just sweet red peppers, but I don't even really taste the peppers in it. They're pretty mild in the sense that they just add that little extra flavors all. You know, it'd be nice maybe if that chicken was a little bit bigger. So there's a couple pieces of chicken right there. One right here, one here. You know, obviously, I'd always like a bigger piece of chicken, but that's just me. But, you know, I definitely taste the chicken in it. You know, it's not bad. I mean, there's quite a few pieces and chunks in there, so it's not that big a deal. So, honestly, like, I can honestly say this is probably going to be one of the ones I'll start rotating with. I just always looked at it and I thought chicken noodles sounded bland to me. It was never that exciting. They ought to really put that on there. It's got a little bit more flavor on it, and it might appeal to more people. I actually really like it, and I'm not just making that up. Like, it really is pretty good to me. And, you know, I definitely throw it in my pack, just add a little different flavor. And it's not, like, too heavy. It's not too saucy or anything like that. I'm not a big... Things that are real saucy to me don't do well for me. And so, for me, you know, things like that and that are heavy in sauce, I don't like a lot. But this is, you know, this is just right. And I think this would actually feel pretty good. And settle well, too, so that you're not, you know, having to crack the Tums later on because it just didn't settle well. So, if you haven't tried this one, I'd definitely give it a try. I think it's well worth it. You know, Mountain House, in reality, I know I say a lot of their flavors are good, but they don't make bad products. And it seems like any of the stuff that I've tried that wasn't that good, they've discontinued, and they've, you know, brought on some new flavors. So they're always trying and always coming out with new stuff. They really are, to me, they're really the leader in freeze-dried foods and in the pouches. So... give this one a try if you haven't. You can come get it from us at muddcreek.com. That's 2 Ds, MUDDCREEK.com. You can click the link in the description, or also click the link. We'll probably have one at the top of the video as well. So thanks for checking us out. I hope you enjoyed the review. We'll keep doing these. We're going to keep doing them until we go through all the flavors, and you can kind of get a virtual taste of all of the Mountain House products, and hopefully get an idea if it's something you like or not. But... you know, for food storage, camping, hiking, backpacking, hunting, I don't think you can go wrong with this. I would eat this regularly, and I'm honestly saying that. To me, they're pretty good. You know, and maybe I'll eat a lot compared to other people, but to me, I think they're pretty tasty. So come check us out at mudcreek.com. Thanks.